Alright, looks like we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. I am responding to a video that I was told about today. I just posted a Switch Sports short, and someone told me that there's been a video where there was someone responding to me about my criticisms of Switch Sports. So I thought it'd be fun just to watch the video, react to it. Let's see if everything's streaming. Alright, good. Looks like it's streaming, so definitely check that out. Okay, good. I just upgraded to Windows 11, so I'm not sure if there are any changes. I've noticed changes with the icons and stuff, but no, not much other than that. But yeah, this is a video that we will be reacting to today. You'll be reacting to me reacting. It's kind of like a never-ending chain of mailmen delivering mail to other mailmen, I think. So let's check it out, shall we? I'm gonna see if it's up because I don't see it. Okay, I see it now. Alright, I'm reading some of the comments. More Switch Sports, yeah. It's become an obsession at this point. I'm fully willing to admit it. Not only because it's like a meme, it's kind of a meme to me, but also because I really care about Wii Sports and the Wii Sports and Me franchise in general. And when I see stuff like this, I'm gonna speak out. I'm not gonna sit here like a buffoon and just say, "Oh my gosh! The Ice Climbers!" That was just every Nintendo reaction ever, but let's respond, shall we?
Nintendo Switch Sports is out in only 2 weeks as of the time of me writing this.
Oh, 2 weeks. It's out in less than 2 weeks now. The calm before the storm, guys.
More excited. I and many others have been clamoring for some type of Wii Sports continuation, and this seems like it's going to be very high quality.
Okay, this is what I'm going to respond to. I'm going to need some water before this. Maybe not, though, because it... Yeah, I might choke. But that's okay. I wouldn't have to think about Switch Sports then. Okay, that was a joke. Before I get into that, I'd just like to say, adding a bit of lime juice to water makes it that much better. But this looks of very high quality. Okay. First of all, the game itself, I've played it before. I played the online playtest. It's a bit clunky. It doesn't feel polished. I don't think that this game lives up to the quality of most Nintendo games because, like I said, it played clunky. I really don't like the visual presentation, but this guy goes on about that, which I'll respond to, but this is not what I'd expect from Nintendo quality-wise. Also, one thing that I need to bring up about that online playtest is not only did Nintendo prohibit footage from being shared, but also they hosted it at the most inconvenient times. Something like 6 a.m. and 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I could go on about that all day. I will say, before I start responding more to the video, I'm not sure if this guy is a troll or not. I looked at his channel, and he hasn't posted any videos like this on the channel. In fact, I saw one where he was talking about how the online in Super Mario Maker 2 is terrible. So I'm not sure if he's a troll. If he is, more power to him, because he is doing a phenomenal job. If he's trolling, he's very serious in the video. So, alright, catch up. I didn't like what I played. I'm not sure which sports you played, but Shambara felt fine. The others felt kind of clunky. But let's check it out. Alright, I'm just gonna restart this from the beginning.
Out in only 2 weeks as of the time of me writing this, and I couldn't be more excited. I and many others have been clamoring for some type of Wii Sports continuation, and this seems like it's going to be very high quality. The only problem is that a lot of people seem to not like this game for one reason or another. So, let's get into why you should stop whining about Nintendo Switch Sports.
Okay. That had to be one of the most conceited things I've heard. Why you should stop complaining about Switch Sports. I've shared criticisms of the game, but I'm not going to tell you how to feel about it. I'm going to share my opinion, and it's up to you if you disagree or agree. You're allowed to have your own opinion, but why you should stop complaining about Switch Sports? Okay, then I'm going to tell you to stop being excited for it. That is one of the most pretentious things I've heard all day. My goodness. Well, actually, I just got up not even an hour ago, so I guess that's really not a high bar to cross.
It's as the vast majority of people seem to have a problem with them in particular.
Yeah, people do have an issue with the Sportsmates, but I'd love to hear his argument for them.
To Mii's and almost replace Mii's as well. I say almost because you can still play as Mii's in the game. So, if you can still play as Mii's, why are people complaining? A lot of people point out that the Mii's aren't...
Okay, people are complaining because the proportions of the Mii's really don't suit the characters well. It pretty much just looks like you're throwing a Mii head onto a Sportsmate's body. That's what it's like, and they're not the focus of the game. He does go in a little bit of detail about that, but there's a reason why people are upset that Mii's aren't the focus, because with the Wii series specifically, pretty much every Wii game has Mii's at the forefront. Let's see, we got Wii Sports, Wii Play, even Wii Music. That'd be a fun video to make a Trash or Treasure episode about. Let's see, the sequels, Wii Sports Resort. I'm not sure about Wii Chess, that unfortunately did not release in North America. Wii Play Motion, Wii Party, Wii Party U, Wii Fit. So the Mii's are pretty much synonymous with the Wii series. It's kind of like if they had a Mario game without Mario characters. Or to make it more relatable, it's like Metroid Prime Federation Force, where the focus isn't on Samus, but the mech characters. I'm not sure if they're even from Metroid Prime. You guys, please let me know, because I'm not sure where those characters are from in Federation Force. The mechs, I think that's what they're called. Yeah, they do look like shovelware. Wii Chess has no Mii's? Okay, Wii Chess. That is the exception, but considering how obscure Wii Chess is, that's not a standard to go by. I will say that maybe I exaggerated saying that was pretentious a little bit, but I don't like it. I don't like how people try to block criticism. I like the game, so that means you have to as well.
The main focus, which is 100% true, I will admit, but...
Okay, good. He is admitting and understanding how people are criticizing the game.
Why would they? These characters...
Why would they? Okay.
Over 15 years old and clearly don't fit into Nintendo's branding of the Switch.
Yeah, it doesn't fit into their branding of the Switch, because back in the Wii era, Nintendo actually used to try with their games. They didn't release stuff like Mario Tennis Aces without a stage select and Mario Golf Super Rush without a difficulty toggle for the computer players. I will say Switch does have some great games. I'm looking at the list right here. I could easily tell you that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Mario Maker 2, those are very high quality. Well, Mario Kart 8 is too, but that is that's a port. I will say, I'll just go in a chronological order with my favorite Switch games, because there are many games that I do love. So, starting off, not including any ports or anything, Breath of the Wild. That did release on the same day on the Wii U, but even I don't see that as a Wii U game. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Super Mario Odyssey, which is my favorite Mario game ever made, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Mario Maker 2, I was going to say Yoshi's Crafted World. People seem to not like that game, but I really liked it. Luigi's Mansion 3, Paper Mario the Origami King. As a reviewer, I'm always going to be honest, despite my personal opinion with some things. I think it's well designed, but I really don't like what it stands for. It pretty much says, hey, we heard your criticisms, we know better than you. Here's more paper jokes. And then going into 2021, we had new Pokemon Snap, WarioWare Get It Together, Metroid Dread, Mario Party Superstars. And this year we had some really great games. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I'm so excited to make a video about that. But despite the joke, yeah, there are a lot of Switch games that have no effort put into them. Yeah, you are allowed to have an opinion. But there's one game specifically that I want you to notice here. Miitopia. Why would they release Miitopia a year ago? It hasn't even been a year, it's almost been a year. With an advanced Mii editor where the focus is clearly on the Mii's. It doesn't fit in with the Switch branding. Then what the hell was Miitopia? If anything, Metopia said that Nintendo was interested in making more games about the Miis. T&D PD says this livestream is suckish. Yeah, you're right. I play Forgotten Land quite often. I'm already 20 hours in. I'm very excited to make a video on that, but let's see. Metopia. I've noticed with a lot of Switch games, the casual games kind of feel generic. Game Builder Garage would be way cooler if it was tied to a more fun brand. Maybe if it were a sequel to WarioWare Do-It-Yourself. Because I don't like the oversimplistic look of a lot of casual Switch games. But let's hear more, shall we?
As the games that support them have shrunk in number over the years. Hell, there's not even an icon on the home screen to make a Mii. You have to
Yeah, there's not even an option to use additional themes other than the basic ones. And yeah, the Switch menu, that's not even an indicator to explain why the Miis are gone.
dig into the profile picture setting just to find the option.
Alright, catch up. Which one is the propaganda video? The response to the response, or stop whining about Switch Sports?
Getting back to Sportsmates though, why do people dislike them? Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, I could tell you why. He does respond to other YouTube videos about why people don't like Sportsmates and Switch Sports, obviously, but the thing is, people like the Miis because you can customize them. They're designed to be you, hence why they're called Miis. These Sportsmates, if you look at the trailers and such, there's one section in the second one where they're playing a round of soccer. They all look very similar to one another. These aren't appealing looking characters. I'm guessing the reason why the Sportsmates took over is because they're trying to cash in on Animal Crossing because they look a little bit like the villagers. So I'm guessing they assumed, hey, Animal Crossing sold well. We should make the next Wii Sports game have characters that look like they're from that game. At that rate, you could pretty much just have Animal Crossing Sports. I think that would be more appealing. But yeah, there's a very clear reason why people don't like Sportsmates. I don't understand how someone could think that people don't like them because they're not Miis. It goes beyond that. That's definitely a reason why. But at the same time, let's see what else he has to say.
Being corporate and soulless without actually explaining how those descriptors even apply to them.
Okay, I watched the part where I'm in the video, and he said that I explain it. I do have a few more additional things to say, but I do appreciate that he's open to hearing different opinions about it. But these videos, let's see, he's responding to other ones.
There are quite a few videos explaining the various problems with Nintendo Switch Sports and the Sportsmates, and honestly, they're mediocre at best. A YouTuber named PK is seemingly in the forefront of these videos, as he's made 2 of them so far. Some of his points literally make no sense or have no evidence to back them up at all. Like this one.
It's like Nintendo are trying to hide Miis. It's stupid.
No, PK. Nintendo isn't trying to hide Miis. If they were trying to hide Miis, they wouldn't be in the game at all. He also claimed something even more idiotic and unsubstantiated.
If Miis were in the forefront of the trailer, the game would have sold so much better.
So, despite the fact that the game isn't out yet, the game would have sold so much better? And how would Miis being the main focus of the trailer make the game sell better again?
Okay, I will tell you how. He is right that the game hasn't released, therefore we don't know the sales numbers yet. I'm sure it'll sell well because unfortunately with the Switch, if a series is tied to a recognizable brand name, it'll sell regardless of the quality. You have some of the recent Pokemon games like Pokemon Sword and Shield and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, where the games are literally not optimized, and I even had Pokemon Sword crash. That is something no Switch game has done for me. Not even Mario Tennis Aces. But yeah, I will say that I think the Miis would make the game more appealing. The reason why I'm not getting Switch Sports doesn't have to do so much with the Sportsmates. We'll definitely get into that a bit more, but people do like the Miis. It's not that hard to understand. It's not that deep.
He has no proof for this, obviously. The only remotely decent point he makes is that the game's timing makes no sense.
JT Shine, good to see you.
So I don't understand why Nintendo Switch Sports is being...
You guys, JT Shine is in the chat. He is a great Nintendo YouTuber. He's made wonderful response videos to Switch Sports. I actually watched the video, and I just watched it, the whole thing, and he nailed it completely. He also agrees that Wii Sports Resort is one of the best games Nintendo made. And another thing, I'm willing to admit this, I think that, with Switch Sports and the Wii era specifically, this is just like, it's not just nostalgia. I love Wii Sports, I love Wii Sports Resort, but it's just like they're releasing lifeless stuff like this, and it just makes me feel sad.
While I do agree, things just don't work out like that. Maybe Nintendo didn't think people wanted a new Wii Sports, or maybe they just wanted to distance themselves from the Wii branding. Let's check out his other video on this game. This next video discusses the lack of sports.
When Wii Sports was released in 2009 on the Wii, it featured 12 different sports. Now Nintendo Switch Sports is releasing in 2022, so 13 years after Wii Sports Resort, and Nintendo Switch Sports is releasing with 6 sports. You cannot tell me that Nintendo Switch Sports should have half of the amount of sports as a game in its series that was released in 2009.
Which I have a super simple answer for. Cost. Developing games on the Wii was dirt cheap, especially in comparison to the Nintendo Switch. HD development, in general, is more expensive than HD development. Not only that, but a lot of assets used in Wii Sports aren't unique to it. Things like...
Okay. This guy is trying to claim that the richest company in Japan it's okay to cut costs. It's okay to release games without much content. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I agree with you there, JT. Yeah, Nintendo has no money. We haven't the money. Leave it to me. If you get that reference, you are an OG. But first of all, if you look at a lot of Switch games and Wii U games that are in HD, those are very high quality, mostly on the Wii U. But let's see. I'll list some of the most impressive Nintendo games. I will say, yeah, I'm going to go from order from their first HD games to now. New Super Mario Bros. U, not exactly impressive. The first HD Mario game, where the HD doesn't stand for highly disappointing, is Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix Deluxe, but that's Bandai Namco. That is not Nintendo. Super Mario 3D World, another great game. Yet again, those are AAA Mario games. Well, maybe not Arcade Grand Prix Deluxe, but it is in my opinion. I love that game so much. Mario Kart 8 blew me away when that game was revealed. I'm like, wow. Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U. Another great looking game. Now let's go on a little more of smaller series. I would say Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. That is an HD game. It looks spectacular. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. That's a game that's a little more obscure, but it has a really cool clay art style. Yoshi's Woolly World. Yoshi's Crafted World too. Those are definitely not big Nintendo games by any stretch of the imagination, but it doesn't stop them from looking beautiful and having the developers take effort. And then we can go to the Switch. We have Breath of the Wild, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Super Mario Odyssey. We have Luigi's Mansion 3. Some people aren't fond of the game, but I will say that you can clearly tell, despite how you feel about the art direction, that it definitely wasn't something that was cheaped out on. And then you got things like Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I do think that Kirby and the Forgotten Land showcases why we need a more powerful Switch, but you could tell that HAL Laboratory was really, really ambitious with that game. You can see the passion in that game. I think you can tell that I love Kirby and the Forgotten Land, but the fact that he states that Nintendo, it's okay to cut back because HD development is more expensive, that is ridiculous. Why should the richest company in Japan, one of the richest companies, one of the largest game developers, why do they need to cut back? Why do we accept crappy products? I hate that this happens. You got stuff like Pokemon where they can't get out of the Gen 6 of gaming, PS2, and they're cutting back costs and like, oh my goodness, you should stop complaining. I had one guy at one of my previous jobs, I said that Pokemon Sword and Shield looked like crap. And then he's like, ugh, stop complaining about a children's game. Alright, dummy. Why are you so excited for the game that you made fun of for being for kids? You're an idiot.
Like Woohoo Island were reused between Wii Sports Resort, Wii Fit, and Wii Fit Plus. If that
Okay. If we're going to talk about reusing assets, they certainly could reuse it. Absolutely they can. The Wii models are going to be they're going to be of less quality because the Wii was not an HD system. The polygons are a bit lower of a count, but if you look at something like Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario 3D All-Stars, you can clearly see that Wii games still held up pretty well. So it wouldn't be that difficult to just bring it over to Switch Sports. But again, we can't complain that a product is subpar. We have to just mindlessly consume.
isn't enough evidence for you. A decent amount of content was repurposed from Wii Sports as well. Not that there's anything wrong with that. As long as the content within the game isn't lacking, I don't mind. But he either seems to
Okay.
not
As long as the content isn't lacking. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze some of the sports in Switch Sports. We have 3, tennis, badminton, and volleyball, all playing very similarly, with a few tweaks. So 3 of the sports are pretty much the same. Bowling, that's different, but you can't have Wii Sports without bowling. Soccer is a new sport, but it's not even going to be fully compatible at launch. How have we reached a point where people are totally okay with Nintendo releasing a game with a pack-in accessory that's not even fully functional day one? Well, Nintendo isn't EA. They have Mr. Mario. See, if it were any other company, they would never hear the end of it. But because Nintendo has recognizable and beloved characters, it's all okay. By the way, I read one of the funniest tweets of all time. Who will probably get this game and is decently excited? Yeah, I'm not getting this game. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm going to get it used because even though I wouldn't be supporting Nintendo, why would I want to waste my time with this garbage and giving more attention? Well, I'm giving it attention now, but I'm giving it attention in a way where I want to warn you guys why not to get this game. You're more than welcome to get the game if you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just sharing my stance on it. Danny Sora, thank you. That is a very nice donation. You will help me consume more products that I'll just mindlessly get. Yet, if you've seen my Mario Tennis Aces review, you will know full well that I am very careful about buying Nintendo games now because that sour feeling still goes with me. But the tweet I saw said something along the lines of Nintendo games aren't unfinished, they're just incomplete. My goodness.
understand this.
What a
or just
genius.
ignores it entirely. I do agree that the game should have more sports, but the sports on offer seem to be of high quality.
No, they're not. They're not a high quality. Chambara, that was the one I forgot. Also, Chambara. I guess Nintendo realized that the North American localization team was worthless anyway. But at the same time, 3 sports are the same. 1 isn't even fully functional, so that leaves us, okay, 3 sports being the same. Bowling, Chambara. Only 3 sports. Only 3 of the games. I consider tennis, badminton, and volleyball one sport. Only 3 of them are compatible or fully utilized and fully developed. I can't believe that they're releasing a game without a packet accessory working. Denial isn't just a river in Egypt. I'm not sure if he's trolling. I hope he is. If he is, he's a really good actor. I'm very proud of him for that. I used to watch this troll on YouTube, where the piano video that was in the Mario Tennis Aces thing. This guy was one of the best trolls on YouTube because even though it was clear he was a troll, a lot of people didn't think he was.
The only thing I don't like is golf being a free update.
Okay.
They should
I see you have some standards.
just delay the game and launch it when golf is ready, but
Yeah, that's very weird because Nintendo is not afraid to delay games unless they're the sports games. I'm not an advocate for rushing games. I think it's horrible. But wouldn't you want to rush out the big titles with the brand name behind them? I think people could wait for a Mario Golf or Mario Tennis more than they could for a Pokemon game.
nah, they gotta fill out that yearly schedule. Again, PK rambles on about how Sportsmates are corporate, but gives no reasoning as to why he thinks this. Just listen to this clip. It sounds like the ramblings of a whiny child.
Then there are the new characters. I hate these guys. They're way too realistic. They look so corporate and they are such a huge downgrade from Mii's. They're officially called Sportsmates and that is such a stupid name. Basically, I just hate these Sportsmates. Everything about them sucks. I wish there were only Mii's in the game.
He also says that Nintendo Switch Sports isn't being marketed like a Wii Sports successor.
But Nintendo Switch Sports isn't being advertised in a way that makes it seem similar to Wii Sports Resort to more.
I would get a Steam Deck, but I'm really enjoying my Xbox Series X now. I highly recommend getting the Series X because it's fully backwards compatible, and not only that, if you play older games on it, they're upscaled to 4K HDR. I've been playing Conquer Live and Reloaded, and it looks beautiful, despite it being released in 2005. I do have a question for you guys though. Why are people very nostalgic towards the GameCube and PS2, but the Xbox is kind of forgotten about, the original one?
More casual gamers.
Okay, buddy. I could go on and on about why these two videos are awful, but let's move on. The next video is by Voygan, and
I love that thumbnail, by the way. I actually do. I think that Matt's become the mascot of Wii Sports.
What in the why bother creating these brand new character models when everyone who likes Wii Sports would obviously rather use Mii's?
exactly the same as last video. Okay. Let's watch this one by Demeech.
Now, who is that guy? He looks familiar. I have a sneaking suspicion that he is with me right now. This one by Demeech, the most shameless Nintendo game ever made. I'm laughing at my own joke, but unfortunately Nintendo Switch Sports was not what I was looking for. Yeah, I'm not kidding there.
But the characters in the spotlight are these.
Alright, so let's go back. This guy actually
Let's watch this one by
was very
Demeech.
fair responding to me.
Characters in the spotlight.
By the way, I would like to say that I'm not mad at this guy at all. I don't encourage anyone to make rude comments or anything like that. I'm just responding to his response, showcasing how I feel about the game. I feel like his response to my part of the video, at least, was more well-constructed than the other ones, where he was not understanding why people don't like the Sportsmates.
Let's watch this one by Demeech.
But the characters in the spotlight are these bizarre-looking characters called Sportsmates. They look like Ninjala characters. How would you feel if the next Mario game had Mario look like this? But I'd go as far to...
Okay, there was one part of the video that he took out where I said the Mario design is good, but it doesn't suit the rest of the game, or wouldn't suit Mario. He took that part out, but I do think the Sportsmates are poorly designed characters, because if we look at them, they all have a similar facial expression, they all have the same eyes. They're very... I'm not sure what the word is, they look very similar.
say, the Sportsmates are not well-designed characters.
Oh, it's exactly the same. Again, you see why I'm tired of this? The YouTube algorithm recommended me multiple Nintendo Switch Sports videos hating on the game for no real reason, and they're all...
No real reason? I've even stated that I could get past the Sportsmates if the game wasn't launching unfinished. This goes beyond just golf. This goes towards everything. The game played clunky. Nintendo is prohibiting footage of the game being shared from the demo. They never did that before. They didn't do that for Splatoon 2, Mario Tennis Aces, or ARMS. And a pack-in accessory doesn't even fully work day one. My goodness, there's a reason why people don't approve of this. And thankfully the YouTube algorithm is letting viewers know, because I read a lot of the comments on the Switch Sports trailers from Nintendo. These aren't the same people as Just Be Happy or Super Nintendo fanboys. These are casual fans who likely haven't had a Nintendo console since the Wii, so they're thinking that the game will be of the same quality and it'll be a trip down memory lane. What Nintendo Switch Sports is nothing more than a cash grab, banking in on the name Wii Sports because a lot of people are nostalgic for it. It's not a successor to Wii Sports. This is a game that is just using the branding. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo, when they got the deal for Banjo and Kazooie to be in Smash, Microsoft said, okay, we'll let you have Banjo and Kazooie in Smash, but you have to take one of Rare's dormant Kinect games You can repurpose it. We'll get like 10% of the royalties. How does that sound? Sounds good to me.
All basically the same.
Okay, a beta is different than a global playtest. Nintendo also hosted a Mario Kart Tour closed beta. That's a bit different. This is an online playtest. It's not something that's limited to just a few people playing a beta.
Now, obviously, not every single person who makes a video is going to have different opinions from each other, but my god, these videos are almost verbatim. I did find...
Okay, I would like to state that, I definitely agree that constant video rants about Switch Sports can get annoying. I'm worried that sometimes I post too many critical videos in a row. I can see how that gets annoying. I definitely can. Yeah, I would agree with you there. I don't have a problem with people saying that continuous rants are annoying. What I do have a problem with is people trying to block criticism or block opinions based on how they feel. If you want to be a reviewer, you got to be accepting of opinions that might be different than your own. You have to make sure and understand and be supportive of people being able to say what they want about a game. I will say one thing, I love Super Mario Odyssey. Someone can make a review saying they don't like the game. Am I going to try to get that taken down? No. You're more than welcome to feel however you want about a game.
Find one that actually explains itself, though, by Demeech yet again. He explains that all the Sportsmates look unappealing due to them being very similar.
And I can say confidently that my opinion of the Sportsmates has changed after playing the game. They're worse than I imagined. I don't like the Sportsmates only because they're not Mii's. They are poorly designed characters. All of them have a very similar look, and honestly, they look like the characters you'd find in the countless shovelware.
There's one thing that I wanted to bring up because I'm reading a comment saying, like this dude calling you a baby for wanting a good-looking game. The argument, good graphics don't make a better game, refers to mostly retro games. Things like Super Mario Bros. 3 are 8-bit, but they're still phenomenal games. But it was most used during the Wii era, where the Wii was not as powerful as the Xbox 360 and PS3. And many people dismiss Wii games as being nothing because they weren't in HD and weren't graphically impressive. But you could see that the ambition was still there with the presentations. Things like Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 really showcase how the developers were ambitious with Wii. Kirby's Epic Yarn's another good example. Graphics, or good graphics don't make a better game, does not mean make a crappy looking game and sell it. That's not what it means. If the ambition is there, that's when you can say that, something being less powerful doesn't exactly make it bad. Wii games are phenomenal. They might not be the best looking, but when you have stuff like Switch Sports, Mario Golf Super Rush, and Pokemon Sword and Shield where the games legitimately look crappy, you can see that not a lot of effort is put into the presentation.
Wii games.
Oh my god, someone actually explained themselves. It's crazy, I know. And I honestly don't even disagree either. There's seemingly no option to change your character's eyes or head shape, which made Mii's really distinct from each other.
Okay, after about over 5 minutes of defending the Sportsmates, he's starting to say that he understands why people don't like him. Yet again, he said earlier in the video, I don't understand why people don't like him. I'm wondering if he's trolling or is just contradicting himself.
What I do disagree with is him claiming that Sportsmates look like avatars from your average Wii Sports ripoff, which is just straight up wrong. He also
Alright, that was funny. Let's go back to this. That was a very specific example of a Wii Sports ripoff.
Complains about the setting. Sportsmates look like avatars from your average Wii Sports ripoff, which is just...
Okay, there are many Wii Sports ripoffs. This isn't the only example. Look up something even that's not a Wii Sports ripoff, like Wii Ski on the Wii. Something like that. Soshi, I will make it my mission to make sure Pac-Man Museum Plus sells very well. Video is called Stop Whining About Switch Sports.
Straight up wrong. He also complains about the setting, Spoko Square.
The game takes place in a central location, being Spoko Square.
There's one thing that I need to address about when I said Spoko Square. This is before Nintendo said it was called Spoko Square. Same thing, I don't even know what it means. But, yeah, I don't like Spoko Square. Alright, video volume. Unfortunately, this is as high as it can get. Yeah.
Wii Sports Resort had Woohoo Island. Not only did it tie everything together, but it's a creative and interesting location. Spoko Square, on the other hand, is anything but. The sports look like they take place
No,
in
they
a
mention
shopping
other
mall
videos.
or a convention center. The location also doesn't make much sense, because when I think of sword fighting, I think of a sword fight right in front of a Macy's.
I mean,
We're gonna have to get through the perfume department before we play some Chambara.
I kind of get where he's coming from, but this is a cartoony video game.
This is a cartoony video game. If it's a cartoony video game, why is it taking place at a boring convention center? If it's a cartoony video game, why not do something more fun and exciting? Why not just go all out with weird and crazy locations? I'll think of something. Maybe... Here, I'll just think of all kinds of locations. Maybe something like Rainbow Road. Or how about A Forgotten Land? Not that one of the best Switch games of all time ever did that theme. That couldn't be possible.
Simulation. He says this looks like a mall or convention center, but it honestly just looks like a fancy YMCA to me.
A fancy YMCA. So I've actually been to YMCAs before. I used to work out frequently, but I've been kind of lazy, unfortunately. I gotta go back into the swing of things, but no, it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like any gym I've been to. It doesn't look like any YMCA. It looks like a convention center. It looks like a mall. You can see with the plants, many malls have that. They'll have the plants decorate the exterior, usually before the escalators and stuff. This does not look like a fancy YMCA.
Complaints that make no sense, but I honestly don't care enough to clap back at them. The majority of complaints in these videos...
Yeah, you can't clap back at them because you don't have a counter argument.
boil down to one thing. Nostalgia.
Oh! This is where I draw the line. Let's hear that again, shall we?
In these videos boil down to one thing. Nostalgia.
No, it's not nostalgia. That is completely missing the point. While there is nostalgia for Wii games, obviously, I have many fond memories playing Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. I still do to this day. This isn't nostalgia. This is people not being happy about a product that is only using the Wii Sports branding for brand recognition. This isn't based on nostalgia. Let's see. I'm gonna look at the first Wii Sports because it hasn't held up as well. You have tennis, bowling, baseball, boxing, and golf. You have a really good variety there. None of those sports play the same. Then you have Wii Sports Resort with 12 sports. There are all kinds of sports, and the ones that are brought over from Wii Sports are completely revamped with the resort theme and the enhanced motion controls. This isn't based on nostalgia, and I'm willing to say 100% nostalgia is the worst thing that can happen in some games. Look what happened to Mario. You guys remember Super Mario Bros. 3? Here, let's make a bunch of new Super Mario Bros. Games referencing it. You have the Tanuki suit and the raccoon suit coming back. Nostalgia is like an Everstone. It prevents a series from evolving. This is not based on nostalgia. There are a lot of games that I used to play that I simply can't go back to because newer games are much better and play a lot better. I remember trying to go back to Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I found it very hard to do after playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, minus the trophies, of course, but that's a discussion for another day. But no, it's not based on nostalgia. That is not the reason why people aren't content about this. If you were to compare just the original Wii Sports and the Switch Sports, just the original one from 2006, 5 sports that are varied, different kinds of modes. You could clearly tell that more effort was put into the original Wii Sports than this garbage. Oh, you almost said number 11!
For Mii's, Woohoo Island, or any of the missing sports from the Wii entries, Nintendo's...
Any of the missing sports. Do you understand why people aren't okay with a so-called sequel having less content?
Sports is automatically looked down upon simply because it's lacking these things.
Yeah, it should be looked down upon. Why would you release a sequel with less content? That's not how successors work.
In my opinion, the gaming community at large needs to get better at judging games based on their own merits, rather than meticulously ripping them apart just because it's not like something from their childhood.
I think that it's absolutely fair to compare games. This is clearly based on Wii Sports, otherwise it wouldn't be called Nintendo Switch Sports and Nintendo wouldn't say it's a new iteration in the Wii series. That's ridiculous. That is completely ridiculous. Standards exist for series, especially ones that are already existing. People don't like it because it's half-baked, it's a cash grab. We have 3 sports that play the same. You got the game launching with an accessory that's not even fully compatible with it. But it's Nintendo, they can do no wrong.
It's reductive and honestly a waste of time at this point. This controversy around Nintendo Switch Sports honestly feels like some type of Sonic fan tier argument. Like, Sonic's quills are too short.
No, it's not like that at all. It's not referring to that. I will say that, if you're criticizing Sonic's design, you're fine to do that. I can understand why people like different designs, but in the grand scheme of things, this is not just a simple design nitpick. This is criticism of a game that's unfinished.
It's like that type of garbage. It's so obnoxious. It would be one thing if the Sportsmates were freaks of nature that looked like something out of a shovelware Wii title.
You see, this is where I'm wondering where he's trolling. They kind of do, not kind of, they do look like that.
Clearly don't. From what we've seen, they have more personality during games than Mii's do, and they seem to be more customizable as well, at least in certain...
This is where I'm starting to wonder if he's trolling, because he said you couldn't even customize the eyes and the head shape, but there's more customization. I hope he's trolling. If he is, he's doing a wonderful job doing it.
certain aspects. I'm honestly really looking forward to playing this game, if you couldn't already tell. I've been wanting some type of Wii Sports successor, and this seems to be filling those shoes quite nicely. If you enjoyed this video, please consider sending a like my way, or maybe a dislike if you didn't like what I had to say. Be sure to comment and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, I'm not, or maybe he'll say at the end it's a joke. I don't know. NFT Sports. Yeah, the outro music doesn't exactly mesh well together, so I'm wondering if this guy is trolling or not. Hey, look. It's me. I see you, me. Oh, and there are all kinds of analysis videos, every hidden detail. There was one video that Guava Juice posted where he was tasting Switch cartridges and made puns. There were 3 games, Just Dance, 1-2 Switch. Yeah, I think it was those 2. And he said, alright, 1-2 Switch, more like 1-2 Taste. That's Guava Juice for you. You know what, let's see if, or actually, I do have to go. Guava Juice, Switch cartridge. Let's end this off on a positive note.
Kroger's Delivery Savings Pass, you get free delivery on all.
I'm not even going to skip the ad. He definitely is worth watching every ad for. This is wonderful. No, I don't want YouTube Premium. This is premium content as is.
What's up, YouTube? Today we are going to taste test Nintendo Switch cartridges.
I'm watching it because it's a guy taste testing Switch cartridges.
Let's do this. As you guys know, the Nintendo Switch just came out, but the thing is, people say that their games, they taste extremely bitter. Like the developers coated this whole thing with the same substance people put on their nails to stop them from biting it. Unfortunately,
The reason I'm playing this video is because he makes jokes like 1-2 Switch, more like 1-2 Taste. It's more intelligent than the Nintendo rumor content.
hey, just taste.
Let's watch this again.
Just dance. Or should I just say, just taste?
The joke is that something this stupid is more intelligent than a lot of the Nintendo rumor content. Don't taste Switch cartridges, but yeah, I do not want to play Switch Sports. I finished responding to the video. is escaping the DS. I will admit that I do like that he used the original one, because that is a freak of nature, but I am going to play some Wii Sports Resort. My pal Riley is coming over to play shovelware another day. But yeah, I'd love to know how you feel about Switch Sports. The Shuckiest, you are right. But in the meantime,